Hello world, I'm Nick, software developer and big .NET fan, and today I want to talk about one of the many design patterns in C#, not just in C# but in programming languages in general, the Singleton pattern. Before we get into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're looking for top-notch .NET content. If you've got ideas for content that you want to see in the future, then just drop a comment below and I'll see what I can do for you. So what is the Singleton pattern? Well, Singleton pattern is a design pattern, which means that it's a way of arranging code to achieve a certain goal. This pattern restricts the instantiation of a class so that it can only be instantiated once. Once it's been instantiated, our target class can't be instantiated again. There is one single instance of it. We're allowing one instance of our class implementing Singleton to exist. Singleton allows you to instantiate an instance of a class when you need it, but if another instance is created or if there's an attempt to create an instance of the same type, it'll get blocked because one already exists. So first of all, I'm going to do a demonstration, a very basic demonstration of how you can implement the Singleton pattern, how you can create a Singleton, and then we'll talk about the use cases around Singleton and why you need to be careful when you decide whether to use it or not, because it is a bit of a double-edged sword and there are a lot of arguments for not using Singleton, which we'll go into. So as usual, I'm going to demonstrate this with a console application, and so we've got our static void main here where we've got our entry point into the application, and in order to demonstrate the Singleton pattern, I want to create a class which implements the pattern. So the first thing I'll do is head over to my project, click new item. I'm going to call my class Singleton. So we have a new class, and I want to change it to public sealed. We want to make it so that this class can't be inherited from, essentially. So what do we need to put into this class to make it a Singleton? The first thing I'm going to add is a private static member. So there's probably a lot of people watching this video who've already thought, if they're not so familiar with Singleton, why don't you just use static classes? Because surely they do the same thing. Well, I'll go into that in a little bit more detail later in the video. But we do use static to a certain extent when we're implementing Singleton. So here I've got private static Singleton, so the implementation or the instance of our class called instance. And I'm going to set that to null. So by default, this member is null. Singletons require a parameterless constructor, so I'll just say Singleton with nothing in the body. And then we're going to create a property which will instantiate this instance that we've declared at the top. So this private static Singleton called instance that's currently null, we're going to create a property which will actually instantiate that. But not only instantiate it, it will check to see if it's already been instantiated. So I'll say public static Singleton. We'll call that instance with a capital. And this is going to be a get property. So you can see Visual Studio already knows what I'm trying to do. This is a pretty common design pattern. And so the property is just a get, and we're saying that if the instance at the top is null, then we will set that instance to a new Singleton. So this is why we have that parameterless constructor here, so that we can still set this instance. So if the instance is null, we instantiate that instance, and then we return instance. So we're returning this private static instance here either way. So we're either returning it because it already exists, or we're returning it because it's just been created because it was null. So let's just step through this once more. So we've got our public sealed class. So this is the type that we want to implement Singleton on. We've got a static instance of itself at the top, which by default is null. We're including a parameterless constructor so that we can still instantiate our instance. And then we've created a get property. And in the get, we're checking to see if that instance has already been instantiated. If it hasn't, we instantiate it and then we return it. If it has been instantiated, this will just get missed and we'll just return what's already there. Now there is a pretty significant issue with this at the moment, in that it's not technically thread safe. So I'll go into the use cases for Singleton shortly, but one of the key use cases is for shared resources. So a resource that is shared by multiple consumers that could all be trying to access the instance at the same time. So obviously, if we have multiple consumers accessing this instance, we're not going to be able to guarantee thread safety. So one of the things we can do in a very basic way is add a lock to make this thread safe. So at the top here, I'm going to create another private member. This will also be static, and I'll create an object, and I'll call it Singleton lock, and it's just a new object. So if you're not familiar with locks, essentially it's an object that we can pass to the lock method, which only allows a single thread to access anything that's inside that lock. So I'll demonstrate that now. So we change this get parameter so that at the top we actually call the lock keyword, and that expects an object that we'll use as a lock. So we'll say Singleton lock, and then we take our code that we want to make thread safe and we pop that inside the lock. And so it means that we'll actually lock that code for the currently acting thread. So it's a kind of first come first serve. Whichever accesses it first gets the lock, it does the logic inside the lock, and then it releases it afterwards. So on a very basic level, this is how I would implement a singleton. But one of the things I think we really should talk about is whether you should implement a singleton. So let's talk about the use cases, and let's talk about the use of singleton as an anti-pattern. So in the sense that maybe we shouldn't use it. So what are the ideal use cases for singleton then? Well, there's a lot of debate about this, and there's no one correct answer. But in my opinion, it's ideal in situations where there's shared resources, as I said earlier. So for example, if you have a logging service where you'll have multiple sources which need to call in and write a log or grab a log, then the singleton would be fine for that. But the emphasis needs to be on multiple sources. So if it's shared by more than one source, then it's more of a candidate for singleton. But if it's just a sort of single instance of a service that's used by, say, one source or a couple of sources rarely, it's probably not a good idea to use singleton. A lot of people use singleton to avoid using globals, so in a sense avoid using static classes, but actually in situations where there aren't many shared resources all vying for control of the same service, you're probably better off just using a static class. But overall, singleton for me is perfect for where a class or an object or a type is acting as a sort of broker. So it could be channeling information to a service bus or a database. It's a situation where it makes sense for there to be one object, and that object is used by multiple consumers. Where possible, I would try to limit the use cases for singleton to read only. There are exceptions like logging, like I mentioned before, where you may be writing logs to a text file or to some other source, but ultimately, where possible, if you can, singleton as a means of getting information is better than singleton as a means of changing state. Wouldn't align singleton to things that drastically change business rules. It can get a little bit messy. When not to use singleton, well, the easy answer to that is there a many-to-one relationship? For the singleton, are there many things that will be using it? If the answer is yes, you could go a little bit further and say, well, to what level? How many things will be using it? And if it's quite a lot, then yeah, singleton makes sense. But if it's not a many-to-one relationship, probably think about using something else. The alternatives to singleton are vast. You know, there are many arguments which favour dependency injection, or even, as I said, the traditional static classes. You need to be really sure that singleton is the right choice. And so, you know, if in doubt, ask your team, speak to other developers, ask people online. There is a lot of debate about the use of singleton. And so while it's important to know how to implement it, it's probably just as important to know when not to implement it as well. One of the big questions I had when I first learned about singleton was, how is this different to static classes? Well, it is quite different in the sense that static in C# is a keyword, and a singleton is a design pattern. So they're different in that sense, but also static is always there. So if you create a static class, it's going to get created at the beginning of your program's execution, whereas a singleton will get created when it's first created. It's first instantiated and then it sticks. So there may be a good use case for that in terms of things like lazy loading, for example, having objects only exist when they need to, but when they do exist, there's only one of them. The other thing to note about static classes is you can't pass them as parameters to methods or functions, whereas you can pass an instance of Singleton, because at the end of the day, it is still an instance class, it's just there's only one of them. And on top of that, Singleton classes can implement interfaces, which is not something that's available for static. So those things hopefully will help you decide whether static is a better choice for you or Singleton is a better choice for you, alongside the other things around shared resources. I hope this was useful. If you want to see videos about other design patterns, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you soon for some more .NET content.